Hi, this piece is titled Culling the Deceitful. Who should we let into our lives and who should we let go? And why is that an important question to pay attention to? Now, the answer might surprise you. Now, there's an old adage that says, show me who your friends are and I will tell you who you are, because birds of a feather flock together. Now, this is true for all kinds of relationships, loving relationships, friendships, and most certainly business relationships. Now, from a purely esoteric point of view, if you're associating with a deceitful person, then you are automatically pulled into that same energy vortex and you become a part of it, whether you like it or not. If we depart from the standpoint that trust is the foundation for any relationship, then we must ask ourselves this. If trust is missing, then what is the basis upon which you continue to collaborate? The answer is that there is none at all, because the deceived person is always on his or her back foot. The moment honesty and complete transparency is taken out of the equation, you are thrown into an abyss of uncertainty and lies. And how does that set you up for further interaction? Well, it just becomes a never-ending labyrinth of lies and more lies. Those who deceive often claim that they are not misleading others, even though they are intentionally withholding information from them. Now, be aware that the tactic that they follow to minimize their deceit is by labeling it as a storm in a teacup, or that you're making a mountain from a molehill, when in truth the mountain is there as clear as daylight, but they just choose to see it as a molehill, and then they put the blame on you for being small-minded or overreacting. Now, of course, they cannot get past this simple question of, if there is nothing to hide, why not tell the complete truth? People like to think this way because it makes it easier for them to deceive others. The worst of these perpetrators are narcissists. So, who is a narcissist? Well, it can be anyone, a friend, a business partner, a lover, a spouse, even family. And the revealing factor is when you dare to ask for accountability. Once you ask for accountability, the mask of contrived congeniality is swiftly ripped away and you look into the cold and calculating eyes of the real person. Accountability is a dirty word to the narcissist because according to them, their conduct is completely beyond reproach. And typically, when you insist on answers, it results in a torrent of verbal and emotional abuse to brand you as the perpetrator. Now, demanding accountability from such a person is what is known in psychological terms as causing narcissistic injury. Hence the flood of abuse towards you. Maybe you looked up to this individual and admired him or her, which makes your confusion at the sudden aggression, well, that's if you're experiencing it for the first time, all the more painful as you grapple with the incomprehensibility of the senseless attack on you. What just happened, you ask yourself? There is no way to soften the blow. Those who have experienced the unabated wrath of an injured narcissist will be unanimous in their advice. Put as much distance between you and the perpetrator as you possibly can. Your well-being depends on it, and yes, this statement is accurate and factual because if you, in any relationship, cannot depend on complete transparency, then what about the trust factor? If there is no trust, there cannot be a relationship of any kind. Now, you can read more about narcissistic relationships on my blog, which you can find right here on my website. So then, who do you let into your life and who do you let go? Is deceit ever excusable? Well, you're going to have to answer that question for yourself. But keep in mind that the nature of deceit is that it turns back on itself. When you deceive someone and you're found out, then you hand them the scissors to terminate the relationship. If you have nothing to hide, then you have nothing to hide from. It's really that simple. Where a business partnership is concerned, no claim can be made for confidentiality, meaning neither partner can move beyond the borders of their agreement without informing the other partner. No exceptions at all, none. Anytime you require confidentiality in a personal matter, keep in mind that you are either gossiping or you are deceiving someone. And in the process, you are coercing another individual to behave without integrity also. There is never an excuse for deceit. Those excuses exist merely in the mind of the deceiver and serve only his or her agenda. The ability to be open and honest and conduct your life with integrity is synonymous with those who live their lives with integrity and those who walk their talk. Don't be afraid to end relationships that are deficient in the trust department. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself and your principles. Start the culling today of those who deceive you. Remember that we each have a personal frequency or energy ID, which represents the level at which we personally operate. Remember also that events, people, and circumstances are drawn to us that function on the same level as we do. Now, perhaps you have been fooled in the past by someone, but once you find out the truth and you allow the situation to continue, you become compliant to the deceit. You're agreeing that it's okay. You do not have the right to complain if you do not have the courage to confront. So what about forgiveness? Is it not true that people have strayed in personal relationships but reconciled and then found a way to remain happily together? Well, yes, of course, that is true. But that implies complete transparency about the transgression, which then becomes the basis for the forgiveness. Transgressions of this nature can naturally only occur once. A second time eliminates the trust factor altogether. Be discerning about who you will allow to be a part of your life as friends, lovers, or in business. If you discover that the wool has been pulled over your eyes, then let those people go without anger or any regret. Simply choose honesty and transparency to be the cornerstone of future interactions, for these are the two non-negotiable aspects of any healthy relationship.